You text her first, you plan the dates, you show interest, and she responds, half-heartedly. She takes hours to reply, gives short answers, acts busy, but the moment you stop chasing, when you move on, focus on yourself, she suddenly appears again, watching your stories, liking your posts, even texting you out of nowhere, and you're left wondering, what changed? Here's the truth most men never learn. Attraction isn't built through pursuit, it's built through presence, because when you're always available, you stop being valuable. When your attention becomes constant, it becomes cheap. And no one, man or woman, values what they can get anytime, for free. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding psychology, because women don't want men who chase them, they want men whose lives are worth being a part of. Number 1, scarcity creates value. In behavioral psychology, one principle never fails. Scarcity amplifies desire. We value what we can't easily have. That's why limited edition sneakers sell out in minutes, why investors chase rare assets, and why someone suddenly seems more attractive the moment they stop being constantly available. But here's the part most men never understand. You can't pretend to be scarce. You can't pull away for a few days, wait for her to chase, then go right back to the same pattern of pursuit. That's not self-control. That's performance. And women sense performance instantly. True scarcity isn't about absence. It's about presence, directed inward. It means your energy is invested in something bigger than chasing validation. Your purpose, your craft, your growth. When your life is full, your attention becomes selective by default. You no longer give it to whoever asks for it. You give it where it's earned. That's what shifts everything, because attention from a man who has direction, who doesn't need to be liked to feel valuable, carries a different weight. It feels rare, and people instinctively value rarity. Think about it. When a man stops texting every hour, not out of strategy, but because he's genuinely building something, his silence becomes louder than another man's words. It's not mystery. It's magnetism. It's the quiet confidence that says, I'm busy mastering myself. And that energy, that calm indifference born from self-focus, is what creates real attraction, not because she lost control, but because you finally gained yours. So stop trying to look valuable. Start being valuable. Scarcity isn't about withholding attention. It's about having something greater to give your attention to. That's when you become more than wanted. You become respected. Number 2, uncertainty increases interest. Here's where attraction gets psychological. A 2010 study by Whitchurch, Wilson, and Gilbert found something most men never realize. Women reported being more attracted to men when they weren't entirely sure how much those men liked them. At first, that sounds unfair. Irrational even, but it isn't. It's human nature. Our brains are wired to chase uncertainty. When something is predictable, our attention fades. When it's unpredictable, when we can't quite figure it out, our brain's reward system lights up. We start thinking about it more. We become curious, emotionally engaged, even obsessed with trying to understand it. This is why, when you're always available, always texting, always making it clear she's your priority, she doesn't feel excitement, she feels certainty. And certainty at the start kills mystery. It removes emotional tension, the very thing that fuels attraction. But when you slow down, when you give things space to breathe, not as a tactic, but as an act of self-respect, something interesting happens. She starts to wonder. Where did your attention go? What are you focused on now? Why does she suddenly miss what she once took for granted? And that wondering changes everything, because curiosity is the seed of desire. Understand this. Real connection isn't built through constant reassurance. It's built through emotional pacing. by letting her meet you halfway, by not rushing what should unfold naturally. You don't need to vanish or play cold. You just need to stop giving what hasn't been earned. Be present, but not possessed. Interested, but not invested too early. Because a man who doesn't chase doesn't lose power. He creates gravity, and gravity pulls far stronger than pursuit ever could. Number 3. Confidence is walking away. When you're not chosen. Real confidence isn't loud. It's not about how many people notice you or how hard you try to win someone over. It's about knowing when to walk away, quietly, calmly, when you're not being chosen. Psychologist Dr. Nathaniel Branden, one of the pioneers in self-esteem research, said something powerful. The ability to walk away from people and situations that don't serve you, even when you want them, is one of the clearest signs of healthy self-worth. That's because confidence isn't found in control. It's found in self-respect. When someone doesn't choose you and you still choose yourself, that's strength most people never reach. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You're saying, I know what I bring. I don't need to convince you to see it. And that energy, calm, grounded, detached, speaks louder than any words ever could. It says, I want this, but I don't need it. I'd rather be respected than tolerated. On the flip side, when you keep chasing someone who's made their disinterest clear, even with good intentions, it tells them something else entirely. My value depends on your approval. And people can feel that energy instantly. It repels rather than attracts. Here's the truth most men never learn. Walking away doesn't mean you didn't care. It means you care about yourself, too. Because every time you stay where you're not valued, you teach others that it's okay to give you less than you deserve. But when you walk away with grace, no anger, no resentment, just quiet dignity, you remind both them and yourself that your worth was never up for negotiation. That's real confidence, not the kind that shouts or postures, the kind that moves in silence, certain, centered, unbothered. Because a man who can walk away doesn't lose anything. He only makes space for someone who will recognize what he never had to prove. Number 4. Chasing shifts the dynamic, and not in your favor. There's a reason why the harder you chase someone, the faster they seem to slip away. It's not just a cliché. It's psychology. In attachment theory, studies show that anxious behaviors in relationships, like over-texting, constantly seeking reassurance, or trying too hard to prove your worth, often trigger the opposite reaction you're hoping for. Instead of drawing someone closer, it pushes them further away. Here's why. When you chase, your energy says, you're the prize. I'm trying to earn you. But people, especially those with avoidant attachment styles, start to feel emotionally crowded when that happens. They interpret your closeness as pressure, and pressure kills attraction faster than rejection ever could. Before you know it, the balance is gone. What should have been 2 people meeting halfway becomes 1 person doing all the work, while the other barely lifts a finger. You start negotiating for attention. You overthink every silence. You turn connection into pursuit. But the moment you stop chasing, something powerful happens. You reclaim your energy. You take the pressure off both of you. You remind yourself that attraction should flow, not be forced. And here's the truth. When you pull back, not to manipulate, but to honor your own self-respect, the entire dynamic resets. Because nothing is more magnetic than a man who knows his worth and refuses to beg for what should come naturally. Someone who's right for you won't need to be convinced. They'll meet you halfway, and if they don't, that's not rejection, that's revelation. Every time you stop chasing someone who won't choose you, you step closer to someone who will. And that shift, from desperation to self-possession, is the moment you stop losing power and start commanding it. Number 5. Growth is magnetic. This is the heart of the whole strategy. When someone doesn't choose you, the most powerful response is not revenge. It's growth. Not to make her jealous, not to prove a point, but because you owe it to yourself. That shift, from chasing to becoming, is what actually changes the game. Psychology even gives us a name: self-expansion theory. People are drawn to others who widen their world, who offer new possibilities. When you start growing, learning, building, improving, you stop being a static option and become someone who increases other people's potential by simply being present. That's magnetic. So what does growth look like in practice? It's simple, consistent work. Health, better sleep, disciplined training, eating like you respect your body. Physical improvement changes posture, voice, and presence. Skill and craft. Take a course, launch a project, finish the things you keep postponing. Competence breeds confidence. Purpose. Set goals that aren't relationship dependent. A mission removes desperation and gives your life forward motion. Style and social life. Upgrade your look, expand your circle, join discussions where real people build real things. Social proof is subtle, but real. Mindset. Read, reflect, meditate, practice stoic discipline. Emotional independence is the quiet engine behind all of this. Do it for you. Not for likes, not for a look back. If you change to trigger a reaction, the change will feel hollow, and people sense hollowness. Genuine growth is slow, invisible at first, then undeniable. Here's the payoff. When you stop orbiting her and start expanding outward, two things happen. First, your absence starts to resonate because you're no longer a passive resource. You're a moving force. Second, you become someone others want to be around because proximity to you now promises growth, not drama. Sometimes she comes back. Sometimes she doesn't. Either way, you win. Because the version of you who needed her approval is gone. In its place is a man who builds, who chooses wisely, who isn't defined by someone else's choice. Stoic takeaway. Don't trade your life for someone's validation. Reinvest that energy into becoming the man you'd be proud to be, with or without her. That is attraction built on substance, not strategy. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to win someone back. It's to win yourself back. Because when you stop chasing and start building, you stop living for approval and start living with purpose. If this message hit you, if it reminded you of your worth, your discipline, or your mission, then don't just scroll away. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this with a man who needs to hear it. This is the Stoic Wolf, where men stop chasing validation and start leading themselves. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one.